everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered. We're so excited to be here, and we are more than excited to talk about this topic. I'm a little bit nervous about this topic, but yeah, so let's give a shout out to my guys.
What's going on, Kirian?
Hi, Randy.
Hey,
Hi, Lennox. Are you guys here with me today? Because, all right, everybody. So, the topic today, music is my weakness. And I say my weakness, not my weakness, but it's our weakness. But music is my weakness, is the topic that we will be talking about today. So, guys, when we're talking about music, I mean, I guess we're not necessarily talking about gospel music.
Could be.
Could be.
Could be.
But, you know, music on a whole. And I think based on one of our conversations we were having, Lennox said, guys, I don't know, but music is my weakness. So, Lennox, why is music
That's
your
for putting me on the spot, Kerry.
Why is music your weakness?
I think music is my weakness primarily because it is something that is, as Bob Marley would say, it's a natural mystic, in the sense where it's spiritual, but it's also something that exists here in the physical earth realm. So that is the reason why I believe that, you know, you can be going through physical circumstances. You can be going through something in your day-to-day life. And then when you start to listen a particular song, or you hear a particular beat, or you hear, you know, a particular music, it then puts you into a different frame of mind. That is the reason why so many people, they if they're going to do something, they listen to music before. And it is said that even Walmart, if you're shopping in Walmart or supermarkets, they play certain music to encourage you to buy.
And stay in there.
So that's what music is to me, something that is both physical here in this world, but also something that has the power to, you know, usher you into a spiritual realm as well.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Randy, is music one of your weaknesses when it comes to...
Yeah, you know what? I think I've never met someone who doesn't love music.
True.
And I think that everyone has a weak spot for music. As Lennox alluded to, it speaks to you, right?
Yeah.
No matter what you're going through, there is a song for that, whether it's gospel music or worship music, or as Lennox said, you know, on Walmart or stores have studied the psychology of music, where they know that certain sounds will elicit certain response in you, and will make you, you know, purchase things. And they have elevator music that's puts you, you know what I mean? So music is very powerful, very powerful.
It's pretty funny because when we talked about the topic,
right,
and you know, we started handing out who's going to be, you know, more of the facilitator. You know, I was just like, well, oh man, I was kind of like, okay, I don't know if I really wanted to take this topic.
You're the best person for it.
And that's the thing. They're like, oh, you're the best person for it. And why is it that I'm the best person for it? I would think, you know, that Lennox should have gotten it because he's the one who was preaching the other day talking about, you know, Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles and talking about all these secular people and the people that rush.
You know she was listening.
So, he got my attention.
Right.
And, you know, it wasn't necessarily because, you know, a certain girl loves a certain artist that we will not talk about.
Okay.
So, you know, but when it comes to secular music, do you guys find that it has kind of infiltrated into our more of our Christian lives than before? Because I feel like for me, like when I got saved, I literally was like, everybody was like, well, you can't listen to this, you can't do this. And, you know, so I remember at a point in time where I literally was like, I cut like secular music out of like my life.
Right.
And one, I feel like it was important. So I would also ask you guys, like, do you feel like cutting out secular music at some point in, you know, in your Christian journey? The reason why I say that, for me, cutting out Christian secular music at the beginning of my Christian journey, just to get my mind, because you're coming out of the world, and I feel like at that point in time, you just needed to, kind of remove some of the, the things that you once
needed a cleansing.
I needed a cleansing. Because again, I was like 20. So, at this point in time, I knew a lot of songs.
Right.
And so at some point, I felt like I had to kind of remove myself out of that environment. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. Like, you think that it was a good idea? Like, what was it that,
I think for me, there ought to be a balance in the sense where you have people in church tend to create or build a lot of emphasis on just listening to straight gospel music, which, it's fine to each their own. However, I found that there's a lot of people in church that listen to straight gospel music, but yet still their lifestyle is not representing what they're listening to. So you can listen gospel music from now into tomorrow morning, but are you living the words of what you're listening to? That's another thing. So I believe that nothing is wrong with secular music depending on the messaging. Because, for example, you're not going to listen to a song, or like, for example, a rap song that is saying that, I'm going to sell coke. I'm in love with the cocoa. That's a popular one. And Panda. That is speaking about selling drugs. I'm in love with the cocoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds old.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying.
I am so
we're out the loop, right?
Yeah, but
let's see your playlist.
But
I don't have one.
You're not gonna listen to that as a Christian because you're not selling drugs.
Right.
And what type of message are you taking in? How does that help you? Because one of the things that we need to realize too, that music is an expression. You understand? And when whatever you put in is going to come out, and whatever comes out is your expression. Can this, how is this edifying you? How is this helping you? But I'm not going to say that there is no place for secular music. I think it just depends on the messaging, the word. Like, for example, if I'm married, if I'm listening to Girl, It's Been a Long Time Coming, I know that it's been worth the wait. Every time I close my eyes, I thank the Lord that I found you. Hell yeah. I thank the Lord every time I look at you, sweet girl, baby girl. Yeah, I'm preaching the word, but yeah, I'm talking to you, my dear, my wife. I thank the Lord that I have you. Okay. So there is a place for it. But
there is a place for secular music at some point in time, right? So there is the message behind the music. There's a place and time for secular music. So I feel like we're going to kind of get into those kind of conversations on the place. Where is it okay to listen to certain type of secular music, and when is it not appropriate to listen to secular music? Right, Randy?
Yeah. So I when it comes to music, and we spoke about it, I mean, how powerful music is there a place for secular music? We're all married folk here, right? Happily married at that. So, in the confinements of your own bedroom, whatever we do is up to what, right? That no one can has anything to say about that. But I do think that we do have to be very careful because music is almost like food. It is something that you're feeding your spirit. Yep. And you spoke about, when you first came to church and when you started coming, you felt the need to cut certain things off, right? Because your appetite was changing. We said this earlier, that an athlete, if you want to perform to the best of your ability, you're conscious of what you put in your body. Yeah. And the same way as music feeds your spirit, if we want to maintain a relationship with God, we have to be mindful of what we feed our spirit. We spoke about how powerful music is and how music can bring about certain feelings in
Yes,
you, sometimes
definitely.
certain memories in you.
Yes.
So you've got to be very careful about that. But Lennox hit the nail on the head when it comes to the message, right? We've got to be very careful. And the truth of the matter is, there are some, I guess you'd say, gospel singers that are singing songs now that when you listen to it, you're like, hold on a second,
Yeah.
who we talking about in this
Yes,
song,
true.
right? So we can't even just say all gospel music or gospel artists are safe nowadays, because the messaging is kind of it's very mixed. But I think we have to have our own personal convictions.
Yes.
I know for me personally, I spent a considerable amount of time not in church. So I know for me personally that it's not beneficial for me to engage or indulge in listening to secular music on a regular basis. It's not, it'll bring me back down to, memory lane and whatnot.
Yes.
So I know for me, with the exception of, it's date night or whatnot, or you're just you and wifey at home and you have a glass of wine or whatever the case may be, and you have some nice ambiance music playing in the background, that's a different thing. But to say that you are listening to on a regular basis, I would question that person to figure out, why do you still feel a desire to listen to
every
that
day.
every day?
Yeah.
And it would cause me to question your spirituality if you're still feeding yourself that on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And I feel like too, sometimes it's it's the place where you are in your Christian, in your spiritual journey too. Because as we all talked about it, when you listen to a certain artist, and whether it brings you back to high school, brings you back to that, you know what I mean? It brings your entire mind back to that area, that place. And the same thing for gospel music, right? We can listen to a gospel song that brings you right back, and it brings you into that atmosphere of worship. Or so we know that with secular music, it definitely can do the same. And I struggle, right? This is unfiltered, so we're gonna, so it is definitely a struggle for me. I remember one time, the artist that I love, that I will not usher his name.
You won't usher his word.
No pun intended. Not usher his name.
We know now. Yeah, we do.
Let's not dance around the topic. Go ahead.
However, I remember one time that I was just like in it, just every song, I was just there. And I just remember at one point, there is a part in my life that when an album came out, that I do not, even now, don't really know the album as good as I knew the other ones, because there was a point in time where I literally had to take him out of my system because of, and again, based on your artist that you love, you have this love for this person too, and your mind just, it messes with your mind. So I remember just getting to a place where I'm just like, man, I can't even listen to this man right now, because it's just it just brought me to it wasn't Christian. It just was not godly. You know what I mean? And I just feel, and at this point, I wasn't even married, so that made it even worse. So it's not even like I'm just singing these songs and be like, babe. No. I'm just singing, just be like, when is he going to come? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it was just, I really had to take it out of my whole lifestyle.
For me, I won't focus so much on the artists. I'll have favorite artists and stuff, but I won't focus so much on the artists. More so, I'm about the words. I'm about how it sounds, how the word goes with this rhythm or this beat. So I'm big on that. And one of the things that I want to stress, and it goes back to what Randy's saying, is that careful of what you're feeding yourself on every day. But I don't want to over spiritualize the thing, because I don't want to create an impression as if we are so heavenly minded and no earthly good. Because at the end of the day, if I take a plane with my family to a resort in Jamaica and I'm on the beach listening, chilling, I'm not gonna want to hear the whole rugged cross.
Right.
You understand? I probably at that moment, lying on the beach enjoying my vacation, I would want to hear summer breeze makes me feel fine. Right. Maybe just so there's a place there is a place for it, but you still have to establish boundaries. And I think that's critical.
So what about those people that say that, music is really not my conviction, and I can listen to it as a Christian. I can listen to secular music as a Christian, and it does not affect me in any way, shape, or form. Like, do you think that is a possibility, that it does not, it's just not a conviction for this person? Like, it's just not a conviction for me. Like, I can listen to it and be fine.
I would question that. And I think that person has fooled themselves.
Yeah,
I think they fooled themselves.
Yeah.
Because again, let's talk real. The closer you get to God is the more certain things that you once desired, you shouldn't have an appetite for. Right? The closer you get to him, certain things, I know for me personally, I loved, like I said, I spent many years not in church. I love music. And I mean, for us culturally, as Jamaicans, we just need a beat, right? We don't need to just hear the beat, right? You're good to go. It's in us. Music is like in our DNA, right? But for me personally, again, I just knew that there were some things I had to give up because the Bible says, every man is tempted when he's drawn away by his own lust. The enemy knows what we like. All right. And
present it on a platter.
Right. And because of how powerful music is, I would find it hard to believe that you have somebody who is being led by the Spirit. All right, we are church folks here. We're not going to over spiritualize them, but we have to talk. They're led by the Spirit, yet still they are constantly, regularly indulging in darkness. They are still constantly feeding themselves something that's not beneficial. And I think we got to change the way we look at it, because it's not a matter of necessarily sin or not. Right? Like when Paul says all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. He's pretty much saying it's not that, some things aren't necessarily right or wrong, it's not beneficial. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to ask yourself that, is this bringing me closer to God, or is it pulling me away? Because there's no in between. We use that word balance very loosely, but it's really called lukewarm, right? There is no in between. It's either something is pulling you towards God or it's pulling you away from him. There's nothing that keeps us in a constant state of limbo or in between. You know what I'm saying? So, and we don't realize sometimes that something is pulling us away. Something is tugging on us, right? So I would question, and not to say that they are wrong. No, but if your desire,
I feel like I would dare go to the extent to say that I think they're wrong. Well, because before music was ever physical in this physical world, it was first spiritual. Right. And anything that is spiritual, the Bible tells us that the physical doesn't affect the spiritual, but the spiritual affects the physical. So if music was born first out of a spiritual world, we talk about Lucifer, who was, so gifted when it comes to music and all of that. When Lucifer stood and he opened his mouth, all the other angels cried holy and stuff like that. He had such an effect where other angels would bow down and worship God and cry out holy unto God. Then why do you think that if music can affect spiritual beings, it won't affect you?
That's true.
But then if I said, all right, they were kind of, if that's what we're saying, then we got to be careful, because a few minutes ago we were just saying, we're talking about balance. So we have to
spoke about messaging though.
So here is my issue when it comes to messaging, because sometimes the messaging can be so subtle, right?
Well,
sometimes and sometimes you can have somebody who, like, what is the spirit behind it? Maybe it's a love song, but it's the spirit behind it is not a love song that is encouraging a healthy sexual relationship or a healthy, maybe it's a love song talking about go find a girl on the road or go cheat on your spouse, right? Because they were on different types of love songs.
That's true.
There are love songs that bring you down a path where it's like, okay, you're not even singing about your partner,
the
right?
person that you're currently with.
You're currently
thinking
with.
of others
I agree
Like
with
for
you.
example, you make me want to leave the one I'm with.
Yeah.
Why you have to go there, my brother? Why you have to go there? Y'all already told me that I should be convicted. I'm already one convicted. Thank you. And two.
So we got to be careful because if we're gonna get to the point where we're just listening to every lyric and be like, no. Can't listen to that. Oh, curse word, can't listen to that. Right? We're not really doing that.
But I think why I place so much emphasis though on messaging is because I think we as Christians, especially in this post-Christendom society that we are now in, we once, it's quote unquote a gospel artist, then it's okay. Like for example, when Kirk Franklin sang about Stump,
he got a lot of
is Stump a gospel music, gospel song?
Considered gospel,
and War, Do You Want a Revolution?
Yeah.
Woo, woo.
Yeah.
So
that wasn't considered
that wasn't considered.
Because Kirk was making music to reach a certain generation
to cross over. But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, we are many things. Just because I'm a Christian, but I'm also a black man. And I'm a black man, but I'm also a hard-working man.
Right.
So if there's a song that sings that says that, I get up every day working, tilling the soil, 9 to 5. I'm a working man. I can relate.
You're relating to it.
And if it's a song talking about my black culture, empowering, I'm a black man.
Right. Like there's a song, and just to kind of make your point, the song from Pharrell, "Happy."
Yes.
Because I'm happy. You know what I mean? That's a nice
it's
song,
a
and it actually has a churchy beat to it at the end, and the saints are clapping.
He has the choir in there and everything going.
So it is, but where we have to be cautious is artists are becoming very cunning.
Yeah.
In the sense that they will use those things. Like I remember, oh my goodness, I think his name was Chance. I think it was Chance the rapper. I remember when his album came out. It was a big controversy. He made one song on the album where he mentioned God's name. And all of a sudden, Christians were justifying listening to the album. Right? Because he had mentioned God in one of the songs. Carry on through the other 12 songs. He's talking about, right? So the enemy is very, very cunning. Where we have to be careful.
Think of artists like, say, Kirk Franklin now, who will also do a song with an artist like The Baby.
Right.
Right?
Which I think is wrong on every level.
Okay.
But continue.
Are you aware of that
Definitely, because
one?
the Bible says, "What part does the darkness have with light?" And can a man serve two masters? No, that baby represents a certain thing, and the influences that governs that baby's music and that baby's life should be a different influence or spirit that governs Kirk Franklin's life. Now, if you're mixing the two, that's like water and oil. No, that is questionable to me.
So do you ever watch those award shows where, artists go up and rap, he gets like album of the year and every song comes that you hear was like curse word after curse word or whatever. And when he got album of the year, he goes up and he's like, I just want to thank God for, allowing me to.
We hear it all the time.
It's like in all things, I guess, give thanks.
God, right?
But they believe in God,
and that too.
So does the devil.
Yeah, and that too, a Christian, really and truly, let's be honest, for a Christian, a child of God, a member of the kingdom, let's be straight and honest, it's not everywhere a child of God, a Christian can go. And that's facts, because we have to understand that we live in a spiritual, a physical / spiritual world. There's a spiritual world around us too. And you have to understand that when maybe, for me, I like cultural songs, but I won't go to like one of my favorite cultural artists just for his words and the things that he writes. would be a Chronics. Would I go to a Chronics concert? No. Right. And the reason why I wouldn't go, because the influences that Chronics is under when he's penning the words, I know, and the influence that exists at a concert. I'm not going to put myself in harm's way when it comes to that.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. So then to that point, a lot of artists, they come out and they speak about, the mindset that they were in when they wrote that song, or if Chronics was bunning some Chronics at the time, and wrote that song, and the song comes out and it's a hit, you love it, but knowing that he came out and did an interview, he was just like, man, I know I smoked like this amount of weed while writing this song, so I'm just like, yeah, would you still feel comfortable listening to that song, knowing, because then is there a difference between him writing it high and you going to the concert and he's up there bunning a spliff at the same time? Because at the end of the day, I mean, yes, you're taking in the actual smoke at the
there's a difference.
And
the reason I know what is the difference is that I'm a preacher, and I can tell you many times, and I've seen many preachers, other preachers do it too. Many times we stand around a pulpit and we preach, and we will put some quotes in there from maybe a secular poet. Right. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, who wrote the Merriam-Webster dictionary? Or if we said, according to John Brown, one of the 5th century philosophers, right? Was he saved? Right. So, but we're taking his word, we're taking their words, and we're then putting it into a spiritual context to bless the body of Christ. Now, I say that to say, at the end of the day, words are words. If Chronics is saying that I am a black man and black man should stand proud, that is a fact. If I'm going to go into Chronics concert now, that's a totally different thing.
I don't know. I feel like I don't feel that there's a difference between, and I'm being hypocritical, obviously. I don't feel like there is a difference with listening to an artist and actually going to pay and see the artist. And that's, I mean, you guys can please change my mind on.
And I hear where you're coming from, right? Because it does. And I'm not sure if it's, again, because we're in ministry, so there's certain things, even if you wanted to do it, you couldn't just because is that Minister Lennox, bro? You know what I mean? You just wouldn't do that. But I absolutely hear what you're saying, and that's why I believe that. And look, there are time and place. So if I'm in the room with my wife, whatever the case may be, or going on a date night, or whatever the case may be, but if this is something that you are engaging in on a regular basis, I believe that's problematic. Now, we talk about the language, or we don't know what spirit was behind. The reality is, a lot of these gospel art, or these people who sing gospel music, we have no idea the life they live, what spirit is leading them. Now, that the song may have sounded or had the right verbiage or language that we can use to lead us into worship. But how often do we see gospel artists, after they get big, just switch or transition over, right? So we don't know what's leading them. We have gospel artists who sing gospel, but live just filthy lifestyles, right? They're just doing it for the money. So at the end of the day, we still don't know what spirit is behind even the stuff that we listen to that we consider gospel music, right? So I think that in everything that we do, we have to try the spirit. But I understand with it almost sounds hypocritical in a sense. But I think that, for us, it's a matter of maybe a level of maturity where we know, okay, if I'm at home or I'm on a beach, right, I'm on vacation, there's something I would listen to. Or I'm not going to say, oh, they're playing reggae, let me close my ears, right? No, right? You might tap your foot and you might, do a little two-step, whatever the case may be. But to take it to the place where you're now going to put yourself in the environment with other, I believe that's a different level. That's a different level where I don't believe just because my wife every now and then will listen to some Barris, right? If we're having a nice dinner or whatever the case may be, that might be the case. Again, that's a rare occasion, right? Now going to a Barris Hammond concert,
totally
absolutely not.
Because
right?
you're standing here, he's on stage singing, and you have two persons beside you. They're smoking, they're blowing.
Right.
Well, now that we're in this era, and you guys obviously do not go to concert, there's no smoking within buildings. So
there's smoking in lots
no,
of
there's no smoking within the building.
Have you ever been to a Jamaican concert? That's open here. That's open.
Have I? No, I've never been to a Jamaican concert here in Canada. I have in Jamaica, and that was like a long time ago. But yeah, so I mean, I understand and I hear you guys in that aspect of it all, which I feel like is and has been a struggle for a lot of us within Christendom, right? Because at the end of the day, like you turn on the radio, you hear a song, or not everybody has Kirk Franklin's praise on in their car, right? So at the end of the day, at some point in time,
and also, can I just interject right there? No, I'm not by any means saying that you should listen secular music, and just take that in all day, every day. Right. But you can just imagine on your anniversary.
Your wedding day.
Your wedding day.
There's people who do not believe in secular music at all at weddings, or if I didn't fall in love with you with a love song. I fell in love with you because of your personality. So why do we need a love song to get us through the moment of this wedding?
But is there anything wrong with? It's your wedding day, right? It's your first dance.
It's wrong.
But again, are we saying that it's wrong, or like is that the consensus that as a believer there is absolutely no place for it?
I feel though that we will never actually get to a full answer because everybody has a different perspective on how we feel about music, right?
To say that it's absolutely wrong, I disagree. And
we're not saying it is.
No. I'm just saying for those that would say that. Now, and the reason why, if I lift my hands in church and I'm saying, Lord, you are welcome in this place. You are awesome in this place, mighty God. That's an expression of how I feel.
Yes.
No, of how I feel for my Lord and Savior. Now, how do I express myself? I can't take the same words, you are awesome in this place, and express my love to my wife.
But you can
I can't do that. Love is something that affects inside and moves outside. Okay. So it's inside and I'm going to express it outwardly. How do I do that to my wife? I have to be able to look at her and say, I feel good. When I'm wrapped up in your arms.
Let me say this. Hold on. Let me say this.
There's gospel artists that made love songs. Did you guys know that?
I don't know who that is. But let's look at the
for
song.
the people out there, please put in the comment some artists that have gospel artists that did some love songs.
Let's look at the Songs of Solomon.
Yes.
Right? And when you read the Songs of Solomon, which can be very graphic.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Very, these were, you know what I'm saying?
It looked like that's Lennox's favorite book of the Bible.
And the description of the woman right? And again, I want to make this very clear. I am not encouraging or saying it's okay for us to listen to secular. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying for us to definitively say there is no place for it at all. I'm not in full agreement with that. Because again, what is wrong if you are in a loving, healthy relationship with your spouse to play a healthy love song, right? Whether it's you're dancing to it at your wedding, it's clean, there's no cursing, right? So it's again, some people have those convictions where it's, they'll dance, they're waiting to hear my cry, oh Lord, and that's fine, right? That's okay.
The joke is, even that part, you're too a bad man. It's not even gospel.
Again, that is fine. I'm just saying, and again, you can check my place. I don't listen to secular music on a regular, I don't, right? But I'm saying if, your wedding day, you're on vacation, to say that a song that is healthy, that promotes a healthy, loving relationship, right? Because as Lennox said, we're not going to pull a hymn and use that in times of intimacy,
you all weird,
right? We're not playing William McDowell, in the middle of that's not what's gonna happen.
Like honey, it's our anniversary night. Can we just hug?
He touched me. No, we're not doing that.
Shackled by a hand.
We're not doing that. That almost seems like a sin.
I know.
Jesus can't use anything to get you in.
To Randy's point too.
Right.
You can't. My teenage daughter cannot come and say she's listening to a love song. No. No. Are you in love? Do you know what love is? No. Go listen to Daddy Shark. Yeah. Understand what I'm saying?
Teenagers do not listen to Daddy Shark. First of all, they listen to Taylor Swift.
You made a very good point there, and this is why I said we have to be careful because we got to be careful about who's listening.
True.
Because and this is why I said it should not be something you're doing on a regular basis. Because you now go play a certain song and your children are in the back seat. What's the message you're conveying to them? Right? So that's why I'm saying if you are listening to a love song or whatnot in the privacy of your home or your bedroom or whatever the case may be, keeping in mind that your children say, so we can listen to this kind of music now or whatnot. So we do have to be very mindful of it. But I cannot say.
I feel like for the most part, like I feel like some love songs are okay, but there's so many different genres of music out there, right? And it's so funny because if we really do get deep into it, like a lot of gospel artists or Christians make beats for secular people, or secular people make beats for gospel songs, right? Absolutely. So it's so deep and intertwined at times that really and truly, if we should, there's certain gospel artists that you probably wouldn't even listen to.
But I will say this. If you are being led by the Spirit, when something is not conducive for your spirit life, right? Let's not, we know when you're like, I probably shouldn't be listening. Or you're driving past someone, you turn it down quickly. Why? Because something tells you that this is not appropriate, right? There's a song, we were backstage before we came on. What's the song? I'll love you when your hair turns gray. Well, who sings that song again? Oh my goodness. That's a beautiful song.
Oh, yes.
What's his name again, man? I can't remember.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry.
I'll love you when your hair turns gray. I'll still love you if you gain a little weight. Just as long as your love doesn't change. Right? That's a secular song, and it's a beautiful. The lyrics are just like beautiful, right? So you're in a marriage and you drop that song and you tell your wife and you whether you can sing or not, that will speak to them. So there's nothing. I don't see anything wrong.
But some songs are excessive though. Like for example, I've always said like no, not you know, that's way out there. No, that's way out there. But like songs like I'll die for you. You know it's true. Everything I'll do it for you.
We're not dying for anybody.
Hold up. Right. And I cross the ocean and stuff like that.
Why would you not cross the ocean? That's a love song. You don't think that a woman wants to hear, I will cross the ocean for you?
I'll catch a grenade for you or
something
like that.
There you go. Oh,
right? So again, in your spirit when something is something that you should resist or something that you should avoid. I believe that we as believers know that this probably this Drake song probably isn't going to help me get closer to Christ, right?
And also we do really and truly, to the point that you brought up before, we really and truly we have to be mindful of the gospel songs that we are listening to and the beats, because like one of my favorite gospel artists is Ty Tribbett. Ty Tribbett, now his last album, he has 2 songs on it in particular. Only One Night Though. Only One Night Though.
That's a sick song.
But that's straight up rap though. I'm saying so.
Gospel music doesn't necessarily only have to be straight Jesus I love you da 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 da. You don't think that there can be rap? Because at the end of the day, if we're removing secular music out of our stream, then what are we replacing it with, right? So at the end of the day, sometimes guys, they love rap music. So then there's the Lecrae's out there. Like, so you're telling me you wouldn't listen to Lecrae? Do you not listen to Lecrae? Is it Lecrae? Is it Lecrae?
It's Lecrae. But what makes something gospel is not the beat, it's the message, right? Because the gospel is the good news.
Yeah.
So you could have a trap
put
beat
it in any
or whatever.
kind of-
It's the message that,
but
that
still,
we
though,
take. We call everything gospel, and that's not even accurate.
Yeah, but still, a couple years back, I was listening to a conversation with a young woman that says she's saved, and she says, she's in a church service, and out of nowhere, the church band started to play a calypso beat, and she said she is just from her time in the world. She was a carnival queen and all of that. So she's just crazy when it comes to to calypso. And she said the church band started to play calypso, and she said all these memories came rushing back, and it was just the beat, and she couldn't even. She was trying to sit still in service, and she couldn't. And she said once she hear a calypso beat, it's like automatically her waistline started to react to it. No, I say,
music
no,
brings you back to a
but
place.
so let's think out of the box though. What about somebody that might be coming from a gang, a gang related world? He's a gang banger and now he's saved. A gang banger predominantly listens to rap music, and you hear like a rap, you hear a good song, good message, but it's on a rap beat. You don't think it will kick? Yeah,
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I feel that it's relatable, but it doesn't necessarily will.
Relatable can be dangerous though. Huh?
Okay, I'll give you that. But
sorry, I don't want to cut you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's so funny because I didn't really think about it, but thinking about it now, I don't think so. I just feel like you can make music in a familiar way for people that love certain genres of music, right? And it's still giving a great message. They are rapping about God, or whatever, life, and, where God brought them from and everything like that. Like, if you really do listen to a good rap gospel, like those... because that also helped a lot of young. I know I've heard it helped a lot of young guys that love God, they love rap, and they're like, "Yo, I'm not gonna go listen to no Fred Hammond." Like they're not familiar with the Fred Hammond or whatever. Where
even I'll take it a step further. I don't know if you guys go to the gym. I don't know what you listen. What do you listen to at the gym? Oh, let me not. No, but you know what I mean. So it's usually I don't put you on the spot. But no, don't quit. But no, like. At the gym, I'm listening to Lecrae. I'm listening because of that beat. It has that beat to it, and it's also clean and it's conducive. So I don't have a problem with Christian rap. Because again, it speaks to it ministers to people. That you can change.
And sometimes it is that bridge to that. For somebody coming from that world,
exactly.
It's a bridge to. So
Exactly.
I get you. I feel you.
Exactly. Bring you back like a secular song. Right. Will take you back to your sinful state, but it will bring you to like, whoa, Christian. Because sometimes young people think that this Christian journey is so boring and they don't. There's nothing fun in it or whatever.
My question then, like to you, Kerry, and to Randy, is it all about messaging then? Like,
I think messaging is very important. I think messaging is very important because at the end of the day, for me, when I'm in a certain place, if I go and listen to there's some old Kirk Franklin songs that I swear it just brings you to the cross. Like, if I feel like I am so down and out and I just need to feel God, oh yes, bring me to some of those old Kirk Franklin songs.
Someone asked the question.
Come on now. See, my hand is up in the air already. Yes. Yeah. See, that's my song. If I'm ever at a place, like, give me that song. Like, it just breaks me down. It ministers to me. So yes, I feel like wording is the message. It is so, it's key. So because people can make, oh, I'm a gospel artist now, and they're just sing foolishness.
Right,
You're not.
right.
It's not connecting, right?
I can relate. Like for like anytime for many years, anytime like I feel a little bit down and out, and I want to like, encourage myself, I would just pop on a Hezekiah Walker.
Right.
We've got the victory, 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 victory. And then all of a sudden I became like,
yes,
victory in Jesus, man.
Yes. Or when you get ready to preach, right? There's certain songs that I take to listen to,
That you have to,
right? Because regardless of what the message is, music ministers to you. It is ministering to you. Yes. Right, and you've got to be cautious of what you allow in your ears. Right. If faith comes by hearing, right, that tells us that what we hear has an impact on what we believe. Right. Sure. And as I think you had mentioned it earlier, that there were when certain people are engaging in certain activities like gang activity or crimes, studies have shown that they listen to a certain type of music. Right. So that's what we got to emphasize, that it is ministering to your spirit, whether you know it or not. Bro.
It's Bible based, because remember, back in the Old Testament, when Israel used to go up to battle, they used to send their musicians first ahead of the army to go and play. Absolutely. So music is that powerful.
When Saul was vexed with the spirit,
right?
What did they call it? It was David that played the harp,
and that
so we can't overlook how powerful it is. That's why we have to be very careful.
And that is the reason why it goes back to what you asked Randy. What about people that will say music don't affect me like this? It actually does. You might probably don't think it at that particular time, but it does.
It does.
Right.
It really does. So I think one of the thing is healthy balance, purpose behind the music or the lyrics in itself that we have to be mindful of, because again, we will, we can walk away here and be like, okay, I'm gonna, let me get back these tickets.
You bought them already? Oh.
But what about those though? What about those that can take like messaging and because you have people that will take the Bible, take the scriptures and justify their position when when their position is just genuinely wrong. Like for example,
it's manipulation.
For example, because if you're talking about messaging and why a love song has its place,
right?
What about if I'm taking words to like for example, back in the day, a Beenie Man song and singing it to my wife.
Right.
You understand? Like,
right.
The song that says, "Girl, I'm gonna take my chalk and mark up your blackboard." For example, you see what I'm saying? But so at some point in time, we have to draw a line.
Yes.
Right.
So so that's the reason why I ask you: is it a case where messaging is just about messaging alone? Because there must be something that goes beyond messaging too.
Right. Because I believe there are certain artists that it don't matter what they sing, as a child of God, you shouldn't listen to. Right? I believe that. I personally believe that.
For sure.
Just based on what we know, the spirit behind them.
For sure.
I believe that if they come out and sing a nice song, that we should avoid it. Knowing that, because again, as I alluded to, music is so strong where sometimes that's what they used to rope you in. You remember when Kanye West made a gospel album? And what was so, I saw it for what it was, because I knew, like, first of all, people think Kanye is crazy. He's not crazy. He's a genius in many ways.
Yeah.
And he knew how, he said, it's an untapped market. I've got this market. How do I get into that market? And he used the album as a way to tap into a different market, right? So I believe he literally lured people in. Now, some of those songs, I listened to them like, oh my God, he had some choir songs in there. I'm like, this is good.
I never listened. I just felt like I didn't want to go down that path.
You know what happened?
I wasn't sure how to feel about it.
People turned into Kanye fans. Yeah. There were people who were saved and in church who started listening to Kanye, who were listening to him before. Even when he flipped the switch on them and went back to who he was, they were Kanye fans. Yeah, so this is why I'm saying we have to be very careful, where I don't even believe it's just about the messaging. We have to be very aware of the devices of the enemy, where he can just kind of get us, put the cheese before us. And say, And then now we're roped in, and now we become fans of these people. So even when they transition back to what they were originally doing, we're still in that same boat.
Remember,
there's so many artists out there that did that. Snoop did that. Snoop had a whole gospel and
album.
won awards for it too.
Gospel album of the year.
Because remember, the Bible says that the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy.
Absolutely.
And there's never a thief that comes like legitimately.
No,
you know,
sneakily.
That's true.
Yeah,
So
like and it is important, as Randy said, to try the spirit. Look at the spirit that worketh behind the man. Like many years ago, people they were creating a lot of excitement within the Christian community about even Kanye because of the Jesus walks with me. Yeah, you know,
I love that song.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I know people that worship to that. Oh Lord Jesus. But
not to burst their bubbles either, but I see a lot of Christian people, and again, we really have to dig deep. I see a lot of Christian people that dance to that Jerusalem song, but because they mentioned the word Jerusalem. But do we even know that it's not a gospel?
That's what I'm talking about.
It's not a gospel song, eh?
That's the cunningness of the enemy, where they will put one word in there. We'll hear Jesus one time. And then,
that's good.
That's gospel.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love it. So we have to be very, very careful because they might have Jesus on track number 1, but tracks 2 through to 12, right? So very careful.
That's
very
true.
careful.
So I don't know. I just feel like, oh man, this is why this is a hard topic.
It can
really
be very
is.
challenging.
Yes.
But again, and I keep going back to it, and I've said it before. What do you want to feed yourself?
Yeah.
Right? What do you feed your spirit? And you know when you eat junk, how you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Right? You know when you go out and eat, if you eat junk for a day or a couple of days, you feel your body responds to it. Right? So we know it's no different than when we feed ourselves certain things, our spirit is going to respond to it. Yeah. Right?
And it doesn't matter. I feel like it's a struggle. It's a struggle out there. It's a struggle.
It definitely is.
It definitely is a struggle for a lot of. I know it's a struggle for myself. I know it. It's a struggle. So it's more of trying to. I feel for myself, and my takeaway when I leave having this real conversation, it really is to figure out like a true balance because I mean. I know how much I love secular music. I mean, I feel like I love gospel. It's not like I can never sing a gospel song or whatever. So at the end of the day, I know that it is a struggle for me, and it's a struggle for a lot of people. And we're not going to play the hypocritical card and act like we don't listen to secular music or reggae or because again, I don't listen to secular music only because my husband put it on in the bedroom. I listen to secular music. Reggae, I listen to, you know what I mean? So we listen, I know for myself, I listen to different genres of secular music, but it's really, truly finding that healthy balance, right? At the end of the day and knowing what we are putting in. I think one of the times we were talking, it's what you eat, what you watch, and what you listen to. It's, so whatever we're putting in our spirit, is it, at the end of the day, we have to figure out, is it really glorifying God? And I mean, we can beat around the bush as much as we want to make it, make ourselves feel good about it. Because I think I've done that to make myself feel good about it. Like, it's not that bad. So, at the end of the day, I feel like we definitely, it has to be a healthy balance. And I know we have to kind of wrap up this whole conversation. And I know we didn't really get into a lot of the things that we really wanted to touch on, but I feel like we did hit on some good points on, for everybody that's out there watching or listening, just to see and finding your own balance. So again, as we always do on Unfiltered, we always go to each other and say, what's your takeaway? What do you want to tell everybody out there regarding music being our weakness, your weakness, and their weakness? Because I feel like it is definitely a weakness for let's go.
All right. So, guys, I just want to let you know, one love, Why not? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Let's get together and feel I'm just joking, guys. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But what I want to say to you, and what I want you to take away, guys, is that I think my good friend and brother here, he said it well. You know, what is it that you're feeding yourself on? Because in everything, I believe that there is a reaction or a result to everything. And if you take in too much, of, just secular music on a daily basis, then that by itself will drive you unconsciously away from God. Not saying there can't be a balance where you listen to, one song, of love to your spouse or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying that. But at the end of the day, you have a relationship with God and you have to do things that nurture that relationship. And by doing things that nurture that relationship, is praying and staying steadfast in devotion to God. And some of these songs, they work against that. Ultimately, your relationship should be the utmost priority to you, your relationship with God. And that's just what I want to leave with you. Be careful of what you listen to. Be careful of the spirit that worketh behind the artists, and just keep diligent in your Christian walk, and He will guide you in all truth.
Lennox said everything that I was going to say. But, I would add to that and just say anything that doesn't pull you towards God is pulling you away. Whether it's people, whether it's music, whatever the case may be. And we have to be mindful of that. We have to know our own weaknesses because the devil himself knows our weaknesses. He knows what he can tempt us with. He knows our likes, our dislikes, our proclivities. So we ourselves have to know. And if you desire to have a closer relationship with God, I just don't believe that light and darkness can dwell together. The scripture says that you can't serve two masters. So at some point, there is going to have to be a point in time when you make up in your mind that for God, I'm going to live and for God, I'm going to die. So I think that's very important that, as Paul said, that all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. You have to ask yourself, is this beneficial for my spirit? Is this drawing me closer to God in any way, shape, or form? And of course, people have their various challenges. There are those who've been in church their whole life who don't know a single word to a single secular song. And that's fine. But there are those who are coming out of lifestyles in which they were partying and clubbing. So there are things that they may have done and some things in their past that are still on their heels. So if you know that there's certain things that bring you back down memory lane and bring you back into certain behaviors, then it is always best to avoid such things. So I just pray and hope that as you are on your journey and we're all on that journey trying to get closer to God, we shed the things that pull us further away from Him and aren't beneficial for our spirit.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. And I think one of the things that I was looking at and, I came across for Philippians 4, verse 8, that says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of a good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. So at the end of the day, it is a struggle for us. But definitely we know that if it's not giving God the glory, that, definitely need to find a healthy balance within what we do. Because again, we are still humans and, we struggle through various things in life, but definitely think on these things. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know what your thoughts are on this, and we'll definitely try to address them on our next podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to Unfiltered. We'll see you again. Bye.